The Paterson video was that was done in Northern California. No, it's not fake. Walking down the campsite, there was a small little river, little brook, right? Mud. Once we got close to it, they showed me a footprint. It was actually a footprint. I would think maybe about 17 inches.
Do you think that could relate to how? Because I know when God brought the flood, He destroyed all the Nephilim, but even after the flood, there was Nephilim.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe there's still Bigfoots or just Nephilim that are just ancient beings that are just they're still around?
All right, so here we go. So we got where are we at?
We're in the mountains. We're in Washington.
We're not in Washington. I thought.
Wait, I thought we were keeping this. I thought we were keeping this disclosed. Location.
Yeah, we're just gonna say Washington Mountains. Washington Forest.
But we're not really
Cascades?
in Washington.
This is our secret spot.
Cascades.
Yeah, we're not gonna lie.
Okay, we don't the location we don't have to say, but we're in an undisclosed location deep in the forest of the Cascades of Washington, where right behind us there have been some Bigfoot sightings.
Right? Yep, everywhere around this area.
The Cascade is full of them. I heard stories, legend, lore, howls.
It's up for you to decide.
Is Bigfoot real? Is the question. The first question we need to dive into. So, I'm gonna start it off. I think, yeah, Bigfoot. I'm leaning more on the side that Bigfoot's real. I think that there's so many sightings, so many people who have come out and said they've seen this. There's the videos. I know some videos are fake.
The Paterson video was one that was done
fake,
that was done in Northern California.
Fake.
No, it's not fake. A lot of them saying there's not. They did a lot of examinations of the actual filming, but that was done and that was caught in Northern California, I believe, in the late 1960s. I think it is. Yeah.
But how credible is that?
It's not credible at all.
How credible is it?
I don't know. Some say that because you can actually see some of the muscle twitching of the Bigfoot when it was walking. When it was walking by the.
And that can be like stacked guy
by the river. I don't know.
Could be some stacked guy in a suit.
Yeah, and by the way, Faithgate, first appearance of Eric, the man behind the desk.
I'm usually behind the cameras.
So
he's a
show run.
He's a tech guy. Yeah. He's our camera guy, our camera, audio, visual. He's the it guy. He's the IT guy.
Yeah. Too much on me.
But yeah, I think Bigfoot's real, and I think if we look at it from a biblical perspective, it could link to the Nephilim. It could link to when the fallen angels came down and crossbreeded genetics to make their own creation that countered God's creation.
Yeah, and
we see that in Sodom and Gomorrah. We see that in the Book of Enoch, which isn't canon, but it still has some.
It adds context
value.
to Genesis 6:4
in the Book of Jude, and it's mentioned in
First Peter.
Yeah,
in First Peter. You could say that there's a good connection because a lot of the Bigfoot sightings they call them Bigfoot because they're tall, right? And also because of the foot, people have gotten actually actual footprints, and they made castings of the foot of Bigfoot.
You've found a big footprint.
Yeah, this was several. Man, this must have been I think back in 2012. I was at work, and because of my work, they sent me to go visit some of our Native American families that were at a reservation towards the bottom, the south side of Mount Adams here in Washington State. There was a place where a lot of our Native American families were there, so I had to go out and do a visit, right? So when we got there, I asked, just fooling around, asking about Bigfoot, and two members of that or the Yakima tribe, I think it was. They asked me, well, it's kind of strange that you asked, but watch, come over here. So they took me down maybe about 300-400 feet from where the campsite was at, and walking down the campsite, there was a small little river, little brook, right, and there was some mud. Once we got close to it, they showed me a footprint. It was actually a footprint. I would think maybe about 17 inches long. Is pretty good sized footprint. And I know, and I actually I have a picture. I took a picture of it. So, and I'll show it. We'll show it, and
I'll put it in there.
Yeah, put it up there, and you see the actual footprint
or
of
try
Bigfoot.
to, if we find it.
So, yeah, I was actually kind of amazed and astonished. It was pretty good size. But it was right next to a river, a little brook, and it left prints near the brook. We know the mud and stuff. Yeah. You know, it make me a believer in Bigfoot a little bit more than what was usual. Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. You think Bigfoot's real?
I personally don't think it's real.
Really?
I mean, I'm the type of guy that I need to see something to believe it.
Yeah, same.
So, I mean, obviously, I've never seen Bigfoot. I've seen the Paterson video. I've seen other videos. I think the Paterson video is completely fake. It just doesn't look real to me. I've seen like a close-in version of them zooming in and doing all that. It still looks very fake. Looks like a guy in a costume to me.
Yeah.
And the way he's walking too, it looks forced. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
In that video, the way the guy's walking, it looks so forced and so unrealistic.
Really? Yeah. I think that nice little sway, you know, and the way it kind of turned to a side, and kind of with that nice sway, it had a nice little gait.
It's all too.
Okay, and then just, you know, and it had long pace.
Yeah, but that video is all too perfect. Like, and perfect in the sense that, like, he turned around and looked at him.
Like, it's unreal.
And it's like, it's almost unreal how perfect that shot was.
Because
like,
because the two people that actually caught the video, they were on horseback. So if you see the whole length of the video, because usually we just see that one 5-second shot that you see everywhere, but that the whole video is actually pretty long. You actually see them on horseback, and so once they get close to the river, you can see the camera moving and, you know, shaking, and then they kind of zoom and they zoom out from far away in the distance. You see the Bigfoot going away, but then you could tell that the actual Bigfoot noticed that there was some noise or it was being watched, so it turned around, and that's what when it turned around, that's what, you know, most people see, and that iconic video of the Paterson video of Bigfoot is when the Bigfoot turns around and it does that nice walk with the arms kind of swaying. But before that, it does you do see, you know, that they were on horses and they were hiking or whatever they were doing.
But still, even then, I just think that video's too perfect. Perfect in the sense that, like, everything happened like almost like it was planned. Like, he looked back, he was walking. It was like to me, it felt like it was like they tried to make it look like it was real, but not real.
Yeah.
Like the whole shot.
I don't know. I kind of think it's. I don't know. Have you ever seen those Bigfoot shows? Those are funny.
When they're hunting
like,
Bigfoot?
you can tell they're fake. Like, you know which ones.
Oh, yeah, I believe there's some actual Bigfoot shows on, you know, YouTube.
But like the funny ones that are like, you can tell they're
like really fake.
They're edited and fake.
Yeah, like the calls and stuff.
Yeah, those
they call
those guys are pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Other than that, I think it's fun to think about it. I'm not saying I don't believe it, but I just
it's fun. It's fun to think about all cryptids.
Yeah.
Like Loch Ness and like like what other ones?
Mothman.
Chupacabra. Yeah.
Over Mexico, La Llorona.
That's not a cryptid, is it? Is it? That's more of like a scary story.
No, it's more. It's like a cryptid.
I don't know.
One thing I want to like ask, or just a question, is like, I know these are all like myths or like things that are stories people bring up, but like, don't you think? I think that like they all originated from one story, one person, or some, like, all those myths and stories originated from one place or one person or one thing. And so
ever seen one of them?
Do you think they just made it up? They just made up a story about
because
Bigfoot?
Well,
and that it was so the story or the myth was so like
Yeah.
good that it
Yeah.
lasted for
I-
this
I-
long, and
it
we're
just-
still talking about it. Like, how could that just be a myth?
Yeah, it's just strange because Bigfoot's just not the story of Bigfoot. It's just not in the U.S. or in the west side of and from California, Washington, Oregon, or Alaska. But you have a lot of Bigfoot stories from. There's Bigfoot. There's Yeti. There's
Even the Yeti,
There's
yeah.
Yeti. There's the
Abominable
abominable
snowman.
snowman.
Well, that's like the same thing. It
Yeah.
kinda-
There's one. I forgot what it's called over in Florida. There was one. I forgot what they're called in Florida also. So,
Chewbacca.
but they have a lot of Bigfoot stories everywhere, and actually all over the world. It's just not located in one area.
Mm.
So this is,
Um,
I got a good question. So do you think that I know it's I get what you're saying. It's not just in one area. It's all over the world. People have sightings and
Yeah,
they're talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. So do you think that could relate to how? Because I know when God brought the flood, He destroyed all the Nephilim, but even after the flood, there was Nephilim.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
do you think that maybe there's still maybe those Bigfoots or are just Nephilim that are just old and ancient beings that are just they're
Yeah.
still around and just that
I don't know,
species
it
is
could
still here,
be.
but now they're just in hiding. That's why we can't see.
Yeah,
them.
it
That's why we
could
don't see
be.
'em, right? I don't know. That's a theory.
Some say the Bigfoots are more of a like maybe a rare species of an ape type of species.
Yeah.
An offshoot of another breed.
But
Of-
if they were that, why would they be in forests? Isn't that like just not where they?
You can hide.
reside?
You can hide.
Well, this.
How would they even get over here? How would they have gotten to
Yeah,
the west side?
Yeah, and then how would they have lived for so long and not gone extinct already? And
That's what I'm saying. Well, obviously they could probably make babies, but
unisex, just one.
No. There's
can
been
breed.
some reports of people actually seeing not just one, but a family or a herd of Bigfoots. So there is, mom and dad and their little Bigfoots.
Well, we don't. That's a report. It's not.
Yeah, I know. But
Not credible.
I know what I'm saying is that there's actual people that have actually seen stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is that there might be some communities where they're actually they hide for a reason, not to be seen.
Yeah.
Back to what Aiden, was saying. I like if someone did make up that story. I could see someone making up that story. Just because it's a
Yeah,
good story.
I could
Because
see it too.
it's an interesting story. You get what I mean? Like, no one wants to hear about something they've seen before, but everyone wants to hear about something that they've never seen.
A
because it's interesting.
mythological creature.
Yeah, because it's interesting. You know what I mean? I could see that
Oh.
becoming a thing where, and then also like you were saying, there's other states where there's other sightings.
yeah.
Why,
or other
why-
countries.
But if I'm in California or like if I'm in North Dakota and I'm like, oh, they only have it in Washington, I'm gonna start a rumor. I'm gonna say there's one here too, so people, they'll think, our state is interesting too. We'll
Yeah.
say there's one
Yeah.
here too.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the case, but I could see that being, because you brought up the story thing and it made me think about that. Like, yeah,
Well,
I could see someone making.
I know there's
a story like that.
in Washington State that I've known personally from people telling me a lot of the Native American families, here that been in Washington State and this area have known about Bigfoot for hundreds and hundreds of years. So many say that they're in our areas, in our mountains, and they really believe it because a lot of those our Native American families have seen in previous years or hundreds of years, and then it's something that it's rare, but they do believe that these types of creatures are out in the Cascades or in Oregon and Washington area. So it's not something that someone recently just wants to make up just to kind of say about there's Bigfoot sightings in the mountains of Utah or something, which there is in different areas. But my point is the Bigfoot stories is just not recent. These Bigfoot stories have gotten in hundreds and hundreds, maybe over 1,000 years ago, more, maybe a couple thousand years ago. If we want to link it back to the Nephilim stories, you're going back 4,000 years, where these giants, these types of giants, and perhaps there's just different breeds of giants. It could be some are not as hairy, but they're tall still. and some are more, perhaps more, a lot more wiser and a lot more intelligent than other ones. And we in the Bible narrative, it does talk about giants being tall, and some were the king of Og, King Og. He was king, and it says that he was a giant. His bed frame was 15 feet long. So he was
in the Bible. It says cubits.
Well, it's a span. They measure the span of cubits, but when we convert it now, it's about 15 feet. It's a 15-foot long bed. So that's one large giant, But you might have lots of different types of species of tall giants. Some hairy, some not as hairy. Depending, I guess it all depends because they adapt to their environment too. Just like humans adapt to their environment. So if you go up toward north up north, you see more of a light complected. Light complected. The eyes are different colors because you get.
That's why you see different depictions, like a Yeti is white.
Yeah,
the bottom of Snowman is white.
Yeah, because they're in the snow and there's white. Partly because they wouldn't be white because they want to disguise themselves as to blend into the snow. But if you hear in the woods, a lot more hairy, a lot more brown because there's more brown here. So they adapt or they evolve to their environment.
And that's another thing. If they are, if they are real, then they've been here for a long time, right?
Yeah. You think they're advanced?
For a long time, and they're advanced. They know how to hide. They know how to stay hidden.
As the technological.
As in technology, no.
Not technology.
I don't
think
so.
Or there's been some stories.
Well, Aiden brought this up earlier. Are you talking about that they're being dimensional beings?
Yeah,
interdimensional.
There's been some stories.
There's a spiritual side to it.
Stories that some Bigfoots they're dimensional beings. They have the ability and capability of going through different dimensions, from the physical to the spiritual. And I one time saw a YouTube video where someone was hiking up in the woods, and they were videoing themselves on a bike, right? And then they were shooting the backside, right? And in the back, he slowed down. I guess they caught some type of a portal started to open, kind of got a little fuzzy in the back, and it's saying that something entered and something exited. I saw a video just like that. So, but some are saying because they hide and they leave quickly, because they have the ability to go to another dimension. They might be the Nephilim. They might have Nephilim capabilities, as in they're either smart or have the ability to go to, like I said, go through other dimensions, or hide.
That's a very radical theory, but
that's pretty out there.
That would be cool. But yeah, I would like to think that there's something divine or spiritual about Bigfoots, or just because, I don't know if they are a part of Nephilim blood or descent, or even if they're like a being that fallen angels made. Yeah. Then who knows what they did to maybe they have the ability to access the spiritual realm, or they're more in tune with that realm, or other dimensions. I don't know. I would like to think that, but maybe not. Maybe they're just physical.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Well, John, what would you think if there was a Bigfoot? There is Bigfoot. What type of species? What do you think it? If it is, you did see one. What would you lean more to say what it is? Is it more human or more of the ape?
I think it's its own thing. If I were to see it on my own, that's the thing though. I don't, and like all these stories that people say I've seen it, all this, that's fine if you believe that. I don't care if you do or don't. But if you have a story, you can tell me. It's not gonna sway me, because I don't really trust the word of man that often. Have you ever seen the Key and Peele sketch? It goes, there's a reporter and a cameraman, and the reporter drives them into a neighborhood. It's a very funny scene, but it makes sense because the reporter drives the cameraman into a neighborhood, and the cameraman says, "There's nothing that we can record here for the news. what's going to be so interesting? And the cameraman says, watch this. He goes up to the first guy he sees and goes, hey, we reported signs of a Pegasus around here. And tons of people start running. We saw the Pegasus. We saw it. We saw it. We saw the Pegasus. It was at my house over here. We saw it. I saw a sighting over here.
Yeah.
And because everyone wants to say that they had seen it.
Yeah.
But it's all a sketch. Like, the guy just went in there because he knew that if he spreaded the word, everyone's going to say, oh, I saw it. I saw it. I saw it, even though they didn't.
Yeah.
And it makes a story. You get what I said? You get it? So I'll believe it if I see it. And if someone has seen it and they truly believe it, I'll believe them, but I won't believe that. I'll believe that they think that they saw it.
Yeah.
But if I've never seen it, I won't believe it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. Because it truly does work that way. If people keep telling you, oh, it's out there, you have to see it. You're going to have to see it. Oh, you'll probably see it if you go out there. Your brain's going to want to see it and might see something, running through the bushes, and your mind will fill in the blank spots. Yeah. Like, hey, oh yeah, that was a big.
I mean, and I guess for me, I'm still out there, to say if they really exist or not.
Yeah.
But I lean more to say is if they were, if they were real, if they are real, because I haven't seen one either. Yeah. In person.
I think the idea is really cool. Don't get me wrong.
If they are,
really cool.
I would like to believe they're real.
I would link them more into. There's two areas, two categories. The Bigfoot is some type of an offshoot or a species of an ape, or I will go off that they're more of they're biblical. They're an offshoot of a breed that's still hanging around from the Nephilim part. Maybe. Yeah. Now, as I say, is have I seen one? From face to face? I seen one?
Yeah.
No. But that takes me back to say, okay, what would I believe someone if they do say they have seen one?
That's hard, yeah.
And I would lean more to say it depends on who it is.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Because I would say, okay, I'm a firm believer that I haven't seen one, but I believe that if the person tell me, and I believe them because I know them, they're credible. I believe they saw something that it most likely it was a Bigfoot because that's what they described it.
Yeah.
I believe them that they saw something that it could be a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That's and I do have a story. That's why the reason why is I would go back to. There's another story that several years ago. My parents. Okay. Yeah. And my parents, they have
credible source.
It's a credible source. There's no reason why them to both.
You already
both
told
them
the
saw
story.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would they lie? There's no reason for my parents to lie. There's no reason why would they make something up, right? They were traveling back. They were coming back from Mexico back to Washington State. They were in the state of Utah, traveling. Yeah, I would say. My dad was saying that it wasn't pitch dark yet. It wasn't like night, but it was almost, I would say maybe like 9 o'clock-ish, where it was dark, but a little bit of light still left.
Summertime, 9 o'clock?
Kind of, but it was like you could see the stars, but you could still see the little glow of daylight still, but
The moon was still shining.
Yeah. But there's no sun. But it's not dark.
The moon was, there's still light.
Yeah. So they were driving, heading home. They said that they just passed up. They were in Utah. They passed Moab, Utah. Maybe 5-10 miles past Moab. They were in between a canyon. My mom said that when they were driving, it almost sounded like my mom was saying that they themselves, when they saw this being, this large, hairy, big man, and it wasn't just a regular size like arms of man. It was, if I could describe it, and we did a sketch of it, and we'll post it on the video. My brother, he drew a sketch because my mom would describe what my mom and dad saw. Yeah. But this Bigfoot, I will call him Bigfoot for now, had the neckline and the shoulders was almost one. Yeah. So it didn't have like a human kind of neck. It's all connected. Yeah. It was very strong. and the shoulders and the arms was just like huge and big, built. The body was just massive, like just straight. The legs were just long and built like strong. It wasn't like ours, like kind of long legs. It was. It had long legs, but it was just massive muscle. Yes, exactly.
You're describing me in 2015. But yeah.
There you go. There you go. So they were driving, right, and they saw something on maybe a couple hundred feet away. It came out. It came out of the bushes or somewhere, and crossed the road when they were driving. My mom and dad said that when it crossed, it took 2 steps to cross a double lane highway, right? It crossed over. When it crossed over, it went on the other side, and then it came towards them, and then went down into the gully, and it just disappeared. And when my mom saw this, it, and she paused a little bit, and then she turned toward my dad. My dad was driving, and she asked, "Did you see what I just saw?" And my dad was driving. Goes, "I think so," and yeah.
So straight out of a movie.
Straight out.
Literally,
yes.
yeah. Literally straight out of
We just saw something. So
Did you just
both
see
of
what
them,
I
it
just
wasn't
saw?
just one person. Both of them saw a large ape human being, and they just they say it looked like maybe perhaps 10, 12 feet tall.
Okay, well, I
It-
want
it-
to
it
get something
crossed
straight
over.
too.
Yeah.
Grandma didn't say it was a Bigfoot. She just described it.
No, she didn't say it was
And
a
you guys said it was a Bigfoot.
Well,
That you guys
it was a
think.
creature. She
You
didn't
and
say
Theo Jerry
it was
said.
a Bigfoot. But
Yeah.
when she told us the story, when they got back several months later, they told us, "Listen, I'm going to confess to you guys. This is what your mom and dad saw. It was a large creature that walked across the roadway with 2 steps. It was huge, muscular.
And took 2 to 3
It took
steps.
2 steps to cross the road,
Across the road.
and went on the other side and disappeared.
So it's either a Bigfoot or a Nephilim.
And I've seen
Yeah.
the sketch. The sketch
Yeah.
is very descriptive of a Bigfoot. Like, you
Yeah.
know, the way that they
It's
say
really
they
scary
look like.
too, yeah.
It was hairy.
It does have
And
the
can I give you this
qualities of
too?
it.
Even in the sketch looks a lot like looks a lot like the Bigfoot in the Paterson video. If you
Yeah.
think about it, a
Yeah.
lot like it.
Yeah. That's qualities of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's because
Like the neck and everything, like
well, because my brother drew the sketch.
Yeah. Shout out.
Shout out Jerry.
Yeah, he drew it, but he was talking to my mom, and my mom would describe what she saw, and my dad was there too, and he just kind of drawing, and then when he drew it, he was finished. He showed it to my parents, my mom. My mom said, "Oh my gosh, this is what I saw."
Really? Yeah.
She's like, and then she turned to my dad. "This is it. This is what we saw."
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not like to 100 to the T,
Yeah.
but
of
but she was like, "Oh wow, this is a pretty good description of what
yeah.
we saw."
I'm sure they'd even get like a perfect glimpse at what they actually
I
saw.
was gonna say,
too.
what if it was like a shadowy figure and it was just like because Grandma and Grandpa are spiritual people
Yeah, they're very
Very
religious
spiritual people. Very
religious, and
religious, very
spiritual
spiritual.
people. Yes,
and they fought. We don't have to get into this, but they fought a lot of things,
demonic
presences and
beings
stuff
in their life. Yes,
But do you think it could have been just something they both
It-
saw?
it could
spiritual.
have been. Here, this is why I say it might be there's possibility because it kind of when I spoke to my mom and dad, they kind of insinuated that when it crossed over, when at first glance, it wasn't like they saw it perfectly. It looked kind of like a black shadow, and it slowly kind of emerged.
Yeah.
Like it came out of nowhere, like it entered into from one dimension to another,
Like it was just.
and then
there.
it walked across. They saw it actually walk, or a quick
Were they
walk.
stopped?
No, they were moving. Yeah,
How fast?
I don't know. See, and took 2 steps, and then they said that when it went on the other side, and when they got close to it and they were passing it, it just like it kind of like it disappeared like they
Evaporated.
almost like evaporated with some type of vapor smoke. It just evaporated.
Are you sure? You said it was like 9 o'clock. Are you sure they weren't just tired? They go to sleep at like 5.
But both of them saw it, just not one person.
Both
So
go to sleep at 5.
yeah, no, but not anymore.
I'm not.
But back then, no. So it's strange. So yes, Eric, if it wasn't an actual physical Bigfoot living in those areas,
'Cause Grandma and
Could it
Grandpa
have
have told
been-
me they've seen a lot of figures like that.
Yeah.
yes, or could have been some type of demonic Nephilim type of a creature that has the ability to go from one dimension to another dimension and appear. You know, here's why I say that. Sometimes there is we mentioned this in other podcasts that we did about that boy and the prophet. And the prophet they were going to go, that there was an army that was going to attack the prophet at his home, and the servant boy was nervous, but the prophet Elijah, I believe, he wasn't, because Elijah knew that God's army was in back of the physical army that was going to attack. Elijah was seeing what was in the spirit realm. So God, because this little boy the servant boy was nervous, panicking, he asked God, open the eyes of my servant boy to have him see what I see. Mm-hmm. So I believe perhaps God gave the ability for my parents to see something in the spirit realm, come in from the spirit realm, a dimension, enter into the physical realm, and they saw this, and it disappeared back into the spirit realm. Perhaps.
Also,
or it could have been a Bigfoot.
Yeah,
A straight out physical.
I was reading
Bigfoot.
into like the origins of Bigfoot, and in Native American culture, it was like when they saw a Bigfoot, it was like
spiritual.
No, but hold on. They said it was a sign of like something bad was gonna happen. If you like, it was like a bad sign.
We need to talk to John. We need to talk to, because we work around Native American people, so we need to. I feel like we need to like mention it and like get some like feedback, some stories.
Did anything bad happen to Grandma and Grandpa?
No.
Soon after.
No, I don't think it was.
Just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I just saw that in Google.
Yeah, but I think sometimes because my parents are faith-based Christian, and I believe that God has angels protecting them everywhere they go. And if it was something that was going to happen bad to them, I think they were very well protected. Yeah. Perhaps in that way too.
Well equipped.
Yeah. So, could Bigfoots could be I could lean both ways. It could be a physical, or it could be in more of a biblical, spiritual, maybe physical, as in a remnant of the ancient Nephilim. Still, perhaps
an
still
offshoot species of a breed that's more adaptable to certain environments. That's why they are able to live longer.
Very elusive.
Yeah, elusive.
Yeah.
Beings.
There's one that was a video this past spring. It went viral. There was a Bigfoot sighting. There's people on a train that was passing by. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. No. And we could show it on. It's everywhere on YouTube, where you could see there was someone that had a camera on a train, on a passenger train, with the other people in the train. It was passing by, and they were videoing the landscape, and they caught a Bigfoot walking, and then right when it was crossing where the train was, on its path, the Bigfoot it kind of squatted, like to hide. And there's an actual video out there.
I think I saw that one this morning. Is it the one in Colorado?
Something like that. I think it was where it wasn't out in the mountains, but it was like in a prairie, like very light with tall a grain, some of that.
But it and I saw the video.
It was walking.
It stumped, or that's what they call it.
It stumped.
And then like you couldn't see no more.
It
was like a trick that, and I know that's a thing that the Bigfoots do, that people say is they have the stump formation, where they'll get into like a little
like
stump,
it looks like if it's a stump,
and it looks like you can't see them no more. It's almost like a trick.
So
I don't know.
I guess
Defense mechanism.
Perhaps, yeah. But that one's that's the most recent Bigfoot video that I saw. That is kind of hard to explain. Not as I know it's kind of far away. It didn't get like nice HD video with a beautiful camera where you see detail. Yeah. But like, what was that? What is that? It was walking, and then it stopped, and it went into it like it crouched down,
and you couldn't see no more.
And it was like it's right there. It's there, but it's like, is that a tree stump? Yeah. It disguises itself, like trying to blend in to its environment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I believe the Bigfoots do that a lot. They'll blend into their environment. Just like going back to that 1980s movie, Harry and the Hendersons, which I like that movie. Yeah, it's called Harry and the Hendersons. The last scene of Harry and the Hendersons, where they release Harry back into the wilderness, he goes out, and then when he's walking out, you see other Bigfoots come out from that you couldn't tell they're there, but they were there. They were like blending into the trees.
Yeah.
And there was small little Bigfoots and big Bigfoots. It's like a whole family of them just came out, and you didn't know they were there. And you see Harry, the Bigfoot walking, and it stops. And when it stops, you see the other Bigfoots just come in, and they were always there, but they blended into the tree lines.
Yeah. I mean,
It could be
they-
a spiritual
they're
tactic.
very elusive. If they're very hard to, people say they see them, but if they're very hard to get on camera, then they have to be sneaky. I would think.
Yeah.
Then again, I've never seen them.
Well, all that to say,
Smart, intelligent.
all that to say, we're gonna go and we're gonna find one tonight.
Yeah.
And we're gonna
That's
catch
one of
'em
our
dead or alive
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
So yeah, that's why we're here. So tonight
tonight.
we're gonna get ready. We're gonna put our. Well, I think I might put on my war paint, my Bigfoot war paint on. We're gonna go out into the tree lines, into the
And if
trees.
we do find one, are we gonna shoot it?
No, actually, no. I believe now
Isn't that
it
illegal?
might be there. I think there's a Washington State law
You can't shoot it, huh?
that if you see Bigfoot, you'll be sued by the state and imprisoned
Wait,
if you
isn't that-
By the
if you
state.
shoot a Bigfoot.
Isn't that
I
crazy?
believe so. There's a law in Washington State.
Isn't
Bigfoot
that
better
crazy?
show up to
Because
court.
it's
then.
considered an endangered. No, it's weird. I
Beat in
believe
that
so.
case.
It's considered
Can't beat in
a
that case.
endangered species if you do shoot and kill a Bigfoot.
So like the government even
Like
know,
acknowledges
It's
it.
protected.
acknowledges.
It might be protected if because now they acknowledge.
I
that-
gotta look that up. That's
No,
crazy.
yeah, I'll look it up. But that's what I heard. Is that
I've heard
it's-
you say that
it's-
before. I've never looked it up to see.
I
There's
think it
a
is
law
true,
that's
John.
an endangered species.
It sounds like something that would be real though.
They just don't want you.
Right?
They just don't want you to find
Endangered species, yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
a Bigfoot.
Well, you get sued for killing any endangered species.
Well, I can't lie. Like the
but if
myth,
it's self-defense, I'm
the
killing
myth
it.
of Bigfoot is like the most like pronoun, the most like known and believed
In-
like
in the
closely-
Northwest.
In the Northwest,
Cryptid,
but
biggest cryptid.
biggest
biggest
cryptid. And
creature.
it's like
Biggest-
the
yeah.
more people believe this than any other cryptid, any other myth.
Yeah.
Got Bigfoot coffee.
So like
Bigfoot
yeah,
Java.
Bigfoot Java.
Good
Bigfoot
Bigfoot
Java.
Java.
Good
Good
merchandise.
merchandise, great chai
It's
tea.
everywhere. The chai tea.
great podcast videos.
There's T-shirts. There's
Shout
hats.
out Bigfoot
That's
Java.
what I'm saying,
You know?
yeah. People make money off of Bigfoot.
Shout out the Angie.
Yeah.
Good money off of Bigfoot.
Well, anyways,
So tonight we will go out squatching, Bigfoot hunting. We'll
Yeah.
be
we're in an area that's has 4 sightings recently.
something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
There's
In the
actual-
span of what? 5 miles? 3
Yeah,
miles?
no, there's actually one that when we drove up here, there's actually a site that perhaps about 10 years ago, across the road that we just came up, there was a sighting, and someone wrote about it. There's an actual a map in the internet that shows these recent Bigfoot sightings in the U.S. and you could zone into Washington State into certain locations. It'll tell you and where someone saw a Bigfoot and actually noted it, either saw a Bigfoot or heard one or the sounds of Bigfoot. And they will actually go into that website and they would.
How do you know what Bigfoot sounds like? If you,
there's sounds and there's
you know,
videos.
it's not like a bear.
True.
We'll find out.
Bears don't roar. They don't make noise at all.
No, but this is different.
Yeah.
How do you know?
This
If
is
you've
more
never
groans. I
Big-
heard it's
if
more
you've
groaning.
never heard of Bigfoot, if you've never heard a bear, you've
We're
never
gonna
seen
hear
a
one
bear.
tonight. So
So
stay tuned
tonight,
Tonight.
stay tuned. Stay tuned. We will go out tonight into the woods
with a
and
GoPro,
with a camera, GoPro and stuff.
flashlights, gear, armor, arsenal, everything.
Yeah. we want what? Okay. What do we want to do?
We wanna see it.
We want to see. We want to hear something.
We're gonna
See
make
breastplate.
Bigfoot calls and yells,
Yells
and we're gonna hear it call back to us.
call back.
So and then obviously the goal is
Bigfoot,
to
where
catch it
are
on
you?
video,
That's my call. Right there.
and obviously it would be cool if it attacked us so we can shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
It would,
That would-
it'd be
would be
so
cool.
cool. If you don't see the Bigfoot video, we died.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be fun. But I think tonight's Bigfoot, we will go squatching, and it's gonna be a fun one. And stay tuned. Is it gonna be all one video or will two videos?
No, we're gonna do 2 videos.
2 videos.
So
Okay.
they'll be in the separate video.
One video, yeah.
2 videos.
Put it all in one. Oh, two separate videos.
Yeah, 2 separate videos. It'll be 2
Yeah,
separate videos. So after we concluded this one, we'll
Stay
put
tuned.
a tag for the next video coming up, where you'll see us out in the dark in the woods here in the Cascades, trying to make contact with Bigfoot.
So stay tuned for that.
We're a
but
bear.
I think that pretty much wraps up this episode of Faith Kate. So thanks for watching. But we'll see you in the next video. Hopefully, we have caught Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Or some audio from Bigfoot.
Audio. But stay faithful,
Bigfoot poop.
and we'll see you at the gate.